Okay, thoughts on the match. I thought I saw a lot of people on Twitter that were a lot higher on this match than I was. Without talking about, like, I don't know what to necessarily even rate it. I'll say this, that during that taping, I liked the Young Bucks versus Chaos more than Blood and Guts. And I know that might sound absurd to some
I
people,
would
right?
definitely, I definitely will rather watch that again because this is a time commitment, right? Just a time commitment alone. Yeah. Okay, so this is how I did it, right?
I felt like a lot of this match was just happening.
Yes, and also we'll take into account that like who knows what got fucked up because of Santana's injury early.
That also, yes.
Um, so for me, I remember a lot of last year when we were talking about last year's Blood and Guts with Jericho, or sorry, with Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle, and like it started very strong, and then about the time where they got to the Wardlow Hager thing is when it kind of just died off, or lost steam. That's a better way to put it. And then they left the cage and was like, why the fuck are you leaving the cage? Like if y'all need to leave the cage and take the fucking cage, take the top of the cage off. I'm not even getting to the part where he did it again. Thanks, Jericho. But yeah. So like my thing with Blood and Guts and War Games are all the same. Like I have the same thing where it's like y'all gotta give me some stakes of I whatever. My complaints. I had complaints every fucking year they do War Games. Every year they done Blood and Guts ever since NXT brought the shit back. However many years ago, 5 years ago, whatever. Like, if you listen to the show, it's a broken record. Like, it's a long match that's meant to only go. That's going to go a half hour regardless, and that can't nobody win until after a half hour. So you're basically sitting there watching nothing, or you're not watching anything, but you're watching people beat the shit out of each other for effectively nothing. And then you go from the part where then you get the surrender part, or you can go to a pinfall or submission, whatever, what have you, depending on it's War Games or Blood and Guts. I said I wasn't gonna get into it. And I've gotten into it. Spent too much time on this shit. Last year, I gave the match, the Pinnacle match, 4 stars, because I really enjoyed the beginning of it. And I liked the choice that Guevara had to make, and then the post match thing where MJF still fucks him over. I liked it, but just for the hour long, it was like 4-star match for an hour long match. That seems appropriate. I like this year's match better. I think that their choice of when to go to commercial break during some of the stuff was a poor decision. Like I think the coolest stuff was like the thumbtacks and alcohol stuff that was going on with Jericho and Moxley that was during the commercial break. But I'm sitting there watching it picture in picture. It was that compelling. I'm still watching picture in picture. I like the idea that like this is over between Kingston and Jericho because quite frankly, I don't want to be over with Kingston and Jericho. So they got Claudio the win over one of the 2.0 guys, and it could continue. So I'm from that perspective, I thought it was a neat finish. He gets Claudio win as a and like you get to see like how Kingston reacts.
That was the most compelling part. Like, I think what I learned in this match was I really only cared about seeing Kingston get to Jericho.
Okay.
And a lot of this. And it was like...
Well, I mean, it's definitely a part of it. That's why they saved both of them for last.
Yeah. And I think the Blackpool Combat Club they're so overpowered. It was almost like they weren't down a man the whole time, and that
there was one point where they were down a man, they just whooped their asses anyway.
Yeah, they were down a man, and then like the heels are getting in, and then they're just running scared from, and I'm just like throwing my hands up like, all right, here we go. Like, and it's just like when I watch War Games, I want they should be
the natural flow of it. It's even, and then the heel comes in, whoops their asses, and then starts to rally, and then back and forth. Back and forth.
So when it was like they were up so much, it was just like, all right, they're up by 20. Like, what we really watching here? And but I think it recovered like after that or whatever, because there was a point where I kind of just fell out of it.
By the time they got Jericho back, I mean, it was back to normal.
Yeah. Like I had fell out of it, but then got back to it. But it was funny seeing like Claudio just destroy Sammy and Daniel Garcia together at once. I thought Moxley he was using the skewers and shit like they were
Yeah,
they were
like he's in
going
fucking
nuts.
Japan and
Like
shit. He's in freedoms, sicko.
But some of the storytelling stuff I think was the actual strongest stuff. Like you mentioned, the seeing Kingston like just I don't know if he was pissed, dejected, just like felt sorry. Like I didn't know what it was. Like jealous. Like there was just like there's a lot of different ways he was
all
reacting.
That.
Yeah,
it was all that. And and like I thought that like. I think the thing that was smart about it was that he didn't linger on it the whole entire celebration, because then it would have been like, all right, man, relax. But like the disappointment of like, I went through all this stuff, like I almost set of innocent on fire to try to murder this dude or whatever else, and like I didn't get my moment, and like it's bittersweet. And yeah, I am disappointed, but like I'm gonna celebrate even with this guy that I don't rock with. And like they celebrate on top of the cage. I thought it was cool. I thought it was a nice touch of them being able to celebrate. You get to see the actual celebration as opposed to seeing it on a camera phone after it went dark or whatever else. So that was cool. And it was able to like rebound off the part where like if that just had ended or whatever else, you just see Kingston with the fucking sourpuss face on the whole time, be like, God, what an asshole. So like he's able to that gave him more dimensions to me. So I actually liked that part. And I think the post match thing did him, it made him feel like a full out flesh out person that has emotion, that has like emotions of like a full human of like, I really wanted this, it didn't work out. I not only did I want to win, I wanted to win in a particular way. It didn't go the way I wanted it to, but it's not over.
Yeah.
So I thought it was cool. So like for me, compared to last year's, I like this one's more than last year. So like I don't know if I give it like I don't know, like at first I was like, well, maybe give it 4.25, but I thought myself like, no, I'll probably give it the same rating, but just think it's better.
I think I'm with you on that. And
yeah, I think I'm just gonna be four flat stars and call it a day.
Like I felt like this match like kind of just it flowed. Like there weren't as many down periods, I think, but like it never took that jump like when Sammy was going fucking insane in the beginning of last year's match where they were. I'm glad they didn't do the West Side Story face-off spot. I'm cool with that.
They did it last year.
Yeah, I'm cool.
And it was funny because going into it, people were like, you're not going to do this shit how they do it in NXT. And then first fucking match they do it, I was like, shut up.
Good. Remove that shit. Get that shit out of here. But they had Sammy go off the cage this time. Yeah. That was Samuel fall some shit that like nothing. Like
yeah. All right, is it time to talk about what he fell through?
He fell through, it looks like a double decker of tables with a blanket on top of it.
Bro. They tried to play us like that was the normal announce table. I was like, ain't no fucking
Still a long way down though.
You're right. I'm not saying they should have thrown him through this one table, y'all. I'm not saying
they should have been even bigger.
He would have died. Because like, yeah, I think like I don't even know if like most times when we see that scorekeepers say we get blown up or crashed into, I think for like sometimes it's not even actually underneath like matting. Sometimes it's underexposed concrete. So it's like, no, I'm not advocating the same way that I'm not advocating that Jericho had just fell and to his death last year in Blood and Guts. That I'm not saying that should happen, but I'm saying like there are go-betweens. Like remember like Hell in a Cell, the Hell in a Cell match with Undertaker and Shane. Like they put like that crash pad thing for the announce table that he crashed through. Like there's something, or maybe they weren't comfortable enough with it because he's also doing a bit of a flip on the dive, whatever else. I don't know, but like. I don't think the answer is double stacked tables on top of each other. That was too obvious to someone. Like you may as well have put a bullseye on that fucking thing. And they're going to get out. If I was there, I'd have been like, okay, somebody's definitely, because they did a good job of never showing that table.
I didn't see it until the fall.
I didn't see it until they zoomed down the picture. I was like, look at this. Oh my God. I was like, I started laughing before he even fell through the thing. I started laughing. But like, if I was in a building, I'd have been like, oh, you may as well just put a fucking big bullseye saying they're getting out. Not only are they getting out of the cage, someone's doing a bump out the cage. So I don't know how people I don't know how that if that did any affected anyone's like reaction during the match, because like it could have negatively affected knowing that like, oh, they're gonna get the cage and
I
someone's
think you
gonna
would have
take
to
a
be
ball
in
off
the
the top.
arena. Well, you have to get someone from the arena to tell you if that's what they thought was going down.
I have to ask that question. Black Sabre Jr. went, so you can
Yeah.
ask him, I guess.
Speaking of that, I hear there was somebody in the crowd from Black Sabre Jr. said there was somebody with a One Nation Radio shirt on at Blood and Guts. If this is you, if that was you, jump into Discord, jump on Twitter. I just want to know who you are. If you showed up, appreciate you showing love.
Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, but either way, like Sammy likes doing these spots. Like at this point, it's just
Remember
something
the
he
One
likes
Wing
to do.
Angel?
Right, that's what I'm getting at. Like he has a history of wanting to do this crazy shit.
Fun times.
Like this is a dude that say, "Hey, I want MJF to give me a super power driver off the middle rope, and I'm going to kick to continue wrestling. I want to do
Built
a
different.
450. I want to do a 450 off the top of the step, off top of the ropes, and then like Darby may or may not be like on the ladder bridge.
Or the
He may
table.
or may not. Yeah, like he's out of his fucking mind. He's out of his mind.
Love him.
Like I want Scorpio Sky to push me off the top of a ladder, and I fall into a ladder that's like, you know, behind me, that's like 5 feet below me. Like he's crazy. Then I'm gonna get it back up and get pushed off. Like that was just over OD, but whatever. Yeah, he's out of his mind. But what do you want to see after this now? Like, because obviously they're going to continue Kingston in some form with Jericho, but like, what do you like?
There's got to be some like type of like some territory type blow off final match. Like, I don't think they can do a last man standing match. I don't know.
Why do you say that?
I don't know if they'll do a Texas death match.
Why not? Because they've done it before.
I don't know. I'm just kind of working my way through the gimmick to see which one makes the most sense. Like, could they do an I Quit match? Could they do? I just don't know what makes the most sense for them.
Could they do a Yapapai Indian strike match?
Diogo in the comments says the I Quit match.
God.
So Sam says a respect match where the guy after it has to say respects the other. Didn't they try that in the beginning?
Roughly, where it's like he said that if you beat me, I'll shake your hand.
Okay,
and I think and then Jericho did, and then he like crossed him and turned heel.
Yeah.
The next show after Revolution.
They could do a respect match.
Okay, so the last time I remember the most famous respect match, the only one I can think of right now is like the shit with Kevin Sullivan and Pillman. Then he goes, "I respect you, Booker
Benoit.
Man." I don't remember a Benoit one.
I think it was. You know what? I think you're right.
Yeah, because remember, I respect you, Booker Man. And it was like, what the fuck? I was a kid. I was like, what's going on? It's like, oh, what was a Booker Man? And it's like, oh, great. We're doing that. Okay. I don't know how that works nowadays. Because it's like, well, just lie to get out of whatever you're in. Because he's Jericho and his slime ball. Right. You can just lie.
I respect you. Kick him in the balls.
Yeah. And then continues on. It's like, we're going to continue this. We're going to do this chase forever and ever, like they're fucking Magneto and Professor X. Like, we're going to do this for decades, Xavier. We'll do this forever, Charles. Like, I don't know. There's got to be something, though. There's no way they're not doing it again.
If you guys have an idea, holla at us on Twitter. What do you think the best, like, kind of stipulation match?
Yeah. And when you say the stipulation, you got to say what territory and what year.
Right.
Like the territory, the match participants in the year. Yeah.
So we had Rampage